You don't want to be taking orders from a platoon commander who is a teenager. So I was already an adult at the time. And why not try the Navy? And then the Navy, I didn't know how to swim then. And therefore, I couldn't join the Navy. I was scared. Every effort to convince me otherwise, I said, no, I get seasick when I get on the sea. And I don't want to spend my life trying to serve the country. So I'm not a soldier. But I am just talking from studying. And as you know, I have a graduate degree in conflict, negotiation and conflict management. So we come up with all these names and titles and how they operate in the professionally soldiering from my study. So, but what I am saying is that you find there is a marksman. There are people who work in intelligence. There are people that work in the who are gunners, those that work in tanks, those that work with rifles, those that work peros, snipers. There are different kinds of gifts, talents where the people, wherever they excel, they put them there. Where did they learn all of that? Trying to mimic the way God have ordered things. And if you, as you know, as a commander of the Lord's army, even in the angelic host, in the angelic heavens and the angelic life, you also understand there are hierarchies too, and everybody belongs to their own choir. So there is orderliness in everything God has made. So in the 1 Corinthians, now having explained that, you will hear from verse 4, 1 Corinthians 12, the word says, now there are various varieties of gifts, but the same Spirit. And there are varieties of ministries, and the same Lord. Just like you see me, I just mentioned the Navy, the Air Force, and the Army. So you see, there are different ministries. So in this end of the year, it is a time for you to reflect and ask yourself, which ministry do you belong to? And what is your gift? These are gifts of the Holy Spirit. I am not talking about the things you learned by going to either by school or by apprentice, by trading, by somebody teaching you how to plait hair, how to do this and how to do that, how to use computer and all kinds of things, except if that is where the gift of the Lord is. So you are sharpening the gift that God had already given unto you. I'm not talking about somebody who see what other people are doing and they want to do it. People who were not called into the priestly gift to be in this service of the Lord, but they will put themselves there. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about those the Lord has gifted in those areas for his kingdom. There are varieties of effects, but the same God who works all things in all persons. Effects of the Air Force jet bombing an area or nuclear bomb is not going to be the same effect as a rifle or a shotgun or a pistol or even an ordinary bomb. It cannot be the same as a nuclear bomb. Grenade cannot be the same as a nuclear bomb. I know I'm using a terms that you may not understand and terms that you may not apply, but I want you to see, because sometimes when you read scriptures and you hear some of these descriptions, some people wonder where it came from. So you find that in scriptures, they use things that are at the time that people are familiar with in order to help them to understand what God is saying. Example, if you read the book of Ephesians in chapter 6, you hear Paul talking to the Ephesians, talks a lot about military and the way armor and belt and buckle and things like that to describe and convey, using that graphic to help them relate, to understand what he was saying. So today, I'm using in the same way to help you to understand the word of the Lord. And for the one is given the word of wisdom through the Spirit, and to another the word of knowledge according to the same Spirit. Two things now. wisdom, knowledge. To another, faith by the same Spirit. Faith. People say I have a big faith, but people have faith in different ways, and people are giving it and giving such a faith differently. So you're talking about the faith. Another faith by the same Spirit, and another gift of healing. Some of you lay hands on you and you get healed, prayed for you, and coronavirus didn't kill you, or something that you were suffering moved away from you. Everybody has it, but it's the same Spirit of God. And to another, effecting of miracles, and to another, prophecy. These are things you have seen. Miracle done, you have seen. Prophecy given unto you all the time. And to another, the distinguishing of spirits. To another, various kinds of tongues. Distinguishing of the spirit, discerning spirits. The gift of the discerning spirit. To discern the spirit, to find out which kind of spirit. To another, various kinds of tongues. To another, the interpretation of tongues. So some people are given the gift to speak in tongues, and some are given the gift of interpretation. Sometimes I'm praying, for example, a few Sundays ago, so you see me, I'm praying, maybe I'm praying the psalm, and then I want to read the psalm to pray the word of the psalm, and then before even I could look at the psalm, the word will come in a different tongue. And then because you don't understand the tongue, then I interpret the tongue in English so that you can understand what the tongue is saying. Members of the body, through though they are many. Okay, so I jumped. Same Spirit works. But one and the same Spirit works all these things, distributing to each one individually as he wills. The measure of faith that God has given me is not the same as he has given you, as he wills. The number of tongues I could speak is not the same as you could. The way you can perform your miracle may be different or more or less than the one that God has given unto me. So everybody does not have it equal, because you hear people telling you whatever they see other people